Hi, my name is Claire Scott, Extension Associate with LaHouse Research and Education Center. Today, I'm going to be explaining to you our Flood Fighter Challenge. This challenge is meant to teach and educate students on the importance of raising your home to prevent flooding. This can be done with grades pre-K through 8th grade. We've also done this challenge within a 3-minute period all the way up into 25 minutes. So this is really flexible. The materials that we start with are something to represent a house, clay, sandbags. We do 6, the amount can vary. Lego blocks, we have 6 total here. A ruler, and clothespins, we have 4. The way that we begin this challenge is to explain to the students that this paint pan represents their lot, and they're planning to build their lot at the bottom of this hill. We give them a lot of information of how they have experienced flooding in the past, and if they're at the bottom of the hill, if we pour water here, what would happen to it? They automatically respond that it would flood. So their challenge is to use these materials in order to raise their home to protect it from those flooded waters. Typically, if we have a short amount of time, we give the students the materials right away and time them for 2 to 3 minutes and tell them that is when the hurricane or the disaster is going to pass. If we have 25 minutes or a longer period of time, we would tell the students that they can first do the challenge without much information, then we pause, give them some more detailed information about flood protection like sandbags, flood walls, and levees, as well as elevated homes, and then they're able to do the challenge a second time. So that is where you can get a little bit more in depth with the information and really get a good gauge to them learning the importance of elevating a home. Either way, they are still learning that, whether they do the challenge once or a second time. The ultimate goal is to see that they're elevating their home. So our typical way that we see that happen is where the students would clip the clothespins to the bottom of the home, and that is automatically going to elevate it. We have also seen where they're using the Lego blocks to maybe reinforce that elevation, where they can shove those pieces within. That then makes it a little bit less sturdy if we're considering hurricane force winds. So we do mention that if we have a little bit more time as well. Also, the importance of building that flood wall. So they can use the ruler to create the flood wall. We make sure to explain to them, wait a moment, now there's a bunch of gaps where the water could come through. So we do encourage them to use the clay to fill those gaps. Maybe they're then using these blocks to also create that flood wall. Then the sandbags, we always stress that you don't want your sandbags up against your home. If your sandbags are wet, then your home is also wet. So encouraging the sandbag to be on the outside of the flood wall. So really, if they're doing it once, you can't give much of this redirection because they're just giving it a try of what they ultimately think is going to be best. But if they're able to do it a second time, once you teach them these methods that are going to be best to protect their home, you're really going to see a very advanced model. After the 2-minute timer, they raise their hand, and then the teacher comes with the flood wall, right? With the flooding. So I would pour the water here. I did not protect my home with the clay. I have a lot of holes, a lot of leaks, so we see that that is rushing through. The importance is you also want to teach the slowing of the water, because if we have a gush of water coming to our home, that is where we can see that it could tip over. So that's where the importance of blocking those holes from the clay come. We want to have as much water here at the top of the tray than we have at the bottom of the tray where our lot is. So here we would tell them they are a flood fighter. They did elevate their home, so they were successful in this challenge. So the key to this challenge is really making sure that we are showing them the importance of elevating their home to protect from flooded waters. Thanks so much.